Now, libertarian ideology is only about catering to the wealthy with having no social safety net. This is how you know that the libertarians are nothing but a front of the billionaires, is that the Foundation of Economic Education was this this think tank group that was funded by Fortune 500 companies that wanted to advance the globalist economic ideology of the top 1%. The libertarians say that money is free speech. You can have unlimited campaign contributions because campaign money is free speech, when campaign money is only but limited influence. This is only one pillar of all the flaws of libertarianism. And according to what libertarians say, they don't like income taxes because you are entitled to the fruits of your labor. You're entitled to what you work for, so you shouldn't have an income tax, is what libertarians claim. And libertarians say that they're for the non-aggression principles, where the government here is to preserve liberty against aggressors who infringe on the liberties of other people. That is what libertarians believe in. And that is good to a degree, especially with cybersecurity abuses by the government for profit surveillance corporations out there. We see them lobby the government. But tell me this. Tell me then, how are the libertarians not a front for billionaires if they sit here and say that the billionaires should have no inheritance taxes for all of their offspring and their grandchildren and all that? Why should they not have a wealth tax? After all, you're only entitled to the fruits of your labor. You're only entitled to what you work for. That is the argument of the libertarians when they say that you're only entitled to the fruits of your labor. And so if you're only entitled to the fruits of your own labor, they're not entitled to what you were just handed down. But America's a nanny state, rewarding mediocrity. That's what we have to argue against if we need a great America. That is not a participation trophy to inherit the wealth kind of nanny state that they're talking about. I'm talking about taking on a vision that benefits all Americans out there. The Libertarian Party is all about every man amongst himself. Libertarianism is what America's had during the last 30 years. America is trying to water down the New Deal. This is the same equation that you're getting. You're getting towards the right, towards the libertarian avenue is what you're getting with these policies. You need to go as far away from it as you can. It is nothing. I got your comment about being blocked. I haven't blocked you or anything. I don't know why comments are disappearing unless they violate terms of usage from YouTube. I never banned you or anybody out there. I don't know what happened with your comment. Sometimes I have comments I can't post on YouTube, so that does happen. On the other hand, it is a very big contradiction. The libertarians should be in favor of a wealth tax. The libertarians should be in favor of an inheritance tax on trust fund babies. Libertarians need to be real. They're not making the money with their brains or their work. They're not doing any of that at all. Not at all. What they were just handed down due to winning the lottery of birth, they want no taxes for. Crazy. What was handed down to them, part of what that family made in terms of private wealth for America should go towards the infrastructure that it takes for their jobs and everything else, their transportation, their shipping. That is what we need to do with the wealthy, and that's not what America is doing. Having a very efficient healthcare system that covers everybody while lowering the cost for everybody down one increasing the amount of people paying into the poll, we can bring down the overall costs. And I feel that America should go for that option if we need to be a real progressive country. But the Libertarian Party doesn't want to. The Libertarian Party wants to get rid of subsidized housing. The Libertarian Party wanted, no restrictions during the pandemic. They wanted absolute chaos. They wanted the martial law and the chaos and all that. The Libertarian Party partially got some of what they wanted from Donald Trump when Bill Barr's DOJ tried to usher in martial law during March. I showed you that Yahoo report that they're trying to usher in martial law during a time like this when a government or a military could enforce lockdown. It did not happen. I never said that it would happen. I actually said that martial law would not be utilized on the population during this lockdown, that it was just fear and it was just paranoia. But they certainly tried to contemplate doing it in the Trump administration. You think about it. Trump tried to usher in martial law. He is the same guy that tried to overthrow the government with the insurrection on January the 6th. So don't think for a second that Trump did not think about doing this, because if he led an insurrection overthrow the government to say, give him hell, you're not going to have a country anymore, is inflammatory, let's do or die for America. He was learning from many of the dictators throughout. And this is where we need to go away from nationalism. And, this is where GOP is heading towards, is a libertarian revolution. If we need to go away from racist, white nationalist ideology that exists with Trump, because Ivanka's won't be a racist white cult. Ivanka is going to be all about the libertarians' freedom, fight for the billion, freedom for the billionaires to exploit the economy and the environment and all that. Just absolute bollocks. These people get distracted from their economical issues when you have these religious freaks. They don't argue for policies that benefit them better off economically. And this is a big problem that I have with the fascist right nowadays. Joe Biden's not going to unleash the police commission. I mean, let's break that down for a second. Let's show you how much of a fraud Joe Biden is, because his corporate tax raise does not even bring us back to 2016 levels when it was 35%. It's still 7% lower than it was in 2016. So Joe Biden's still giving an overall effective tax break. Joe Biden is, since 2016, for the corporate tax rate, certainly not raising all this money. Joe Biden's going to give the credit back to his credit card companies that bankroll his campaign. This is all Joe Biden's going to be doing right now. He is going to help the wealthy. He's going to help the banks certainly get richer off of more credit. Joe Biden will want to run America like a credit cards because he's bought by billionaires. He's not really going to provide this wealth that can pay off the budget like we had in the 1990s or so, but then Bush exploded a Clintonian surplus, largely helped by the tech boom with the internet and the dot-com boom, but still no longer in debt. That helped us. But then Bill Clinton was the same guy that said that big government is over. Ronald Reagan did, but Bill Clinton said that big government is over. Bill Clinton said we're going to end the war on welfare. And Bill Clinton gave America NAFTA. And Bill Clinton modernized modernized financial services. He allowed the selling of third-party derivatives. So Bill Clinton was part of the current financial mess today. And so was Trump, with the changing landscape of American demographics. Donald Trump was certainly a byproduct of globalism when he brought in these Polish workers over to America, these undocumented Polish workers. And Trump certainly had undocumented work in his Mar-a-Lago resort. But you see, it's just the same kind of politics again. And this is why I did not vote for Joe Biden, but I did see that the Libertarian Party is a big threat. Do you settle for the centrists over the Libertarian Party? That's a fantastic question. Do you want anarchy? Do you want civil war? Do you want to keep things right in the middle? That is a philosophical question, and what you believe, how soon actions should take, or if people need action to take against the government. But no police commission within his 100 days of president. Big disappointment. Not libertarian. That's great, but Joe Biden's still for the billionaires. And I guarantee you that's where Ivanka in the right wing is heading. Progressives need to sell out to the devil to give libertarians a little bit of what they want. And hey, libertarians said, hey, we legalize weed. We need a big, bad government Democrat. We need to unlift America as being prosperous. The income tax rate is 0. It's going to trickle down. Oh, my God. I'm just sick and tired of American people can't deduct car payments and credit card debt from their tax returns because of Reagan and what he did after giving the wealthy a big giant tax break. The American people are further climbing into a mental abyss. Ronald Reagan got rid of the mental hospitals. Ronald Reagan ushered the rise of private prisons to lock those mentally ill people in the streets committing crime. Ronald Reagan was the man who had such hatred and contempt for the college kids that did not vote for him that he decided to get rid of, public paid for tuition colleges. Ronald Reagan is a big, giant disaster for America, and this guy is a movie actor. Walter Mondale, whoever, communism was not going to work when the world is more globalized and open up. Technology left communism behind. It would have happened even without Ronald Reagan and his disastrous, his Star Wars program. It bankrupted America. He expanded the military like Reagan. That's what Trump did. Expanded the military budget. Military industrial complex and their cronies. Trump exploded the budget. Military had a bigger budget with Trump. He favored those people. Ronald Reagan is the guy who paved the way for Clinton. And after Reagan gave the millionaires, he exploded the deficit. Reagan was one of the biggest scandalous presidencies in the history of the world. He had Reagan had 138 people indicted, charged, convicted, all combined together during his presidency. My God, corrupt administration under Reagan. You thought Bush was corrupt? Reagan's was still corrupt. Remember the Iran-Contra affair with the selling of drugs in exchange for weapons? Remember that, what Reagan did with the CIA? And no, we don't want to talk about that with Ronald Reagan. Why do people think Reagan is great? Reagan is horrible. Reagan is the reason why a libertarian economist ushered in some of the ideas of libertarians that failed again during the presidency of Trump, and I printed all of this in my channel. And no health care, no infrastructure, a billionaire tax cut. A billionaire tax cuts exploded the deficit. Trump did that. He didn't pay for it. Trump was going to usher in an economic agenda for the billionaires only. Donald Trump in a gold-plated toilet. He's so much like us. Why do they think Trump is so much like them? If he never sees people like that every day. If Trump has never driven a car. Trump was driven everywhere in his life because he's living in a gold-plated seat. Trump is the epitome of white privilege. Trump is the epitome of corruption. Trump is the epitome of amoralness. Trump is the epitome of not caring for the coronavirus. Trump is the epitome of what libertarians believe in. Trump is the epitome of giving the wealthy everything they want and less being left with nothing. Ronald Reagan, America is more polarized since Reagan. What was great about Reagan? Usually at the time, you thought America was great, but then George Carlin was right. The American dream. You gotta be asleep to believe it. Only in your dreams can you believe in the rigged American dream, rigged economy for the wealthy and for the billionaires. And will this generation learn from it, or are they going to be complete zombies as far as I can tell? Will technology make us dumber? Will we go to artificial intelligence? Are we losing our minds right now? Is America a big, giant mental asylum? I certainly think America is. These people don't realize what they're doing to them. They're making them dumber. They're making them ignorant. They're making them voting against their best interests. Again, seeking knowledge and having education and going through a fear and paranoia and conspiracy. Too much. We don't want to be sane people while saying that, hey, we could just suspect some foul play with billionaires getting wealthier in the COVID pandemic and all that. And any foreknowledge of the COVID-19. The maid wipes Trump's ass. I mean, Trump would be on his phone on Twitter while he's wiping his ass. That's what would happen. Is Trump would be on Twitter while the maid is wiping his ass. That's insane. But you know what else is insane is, Donald Trump killed our families. Trump put our family in harm's way. Some people here in my family really did believe a lot in Donald Trump, that he was this rock star. But then, when without any vaccine, you go to a Trump rally in late October, whatnot, and you find yourself without people wearing masks in a super spreader environment, having a pre-existing condition, Alzheimer's, where your immune system doesn't recognize the outside threats, and so your immune system is compromised, and really did hurt this family member, and she is no longer here with us. Happened in November. Coronavirus, high temperature, and she wore the Trump shirt. She went to the Trump rally. She believed all the lies of this demagogue. It's cost people's lives. Bush, 9/11, 3,000 people dead. With Trump, it's amplified. 400,000 families. Many other family, friends, everybody combined is affected by this. It boils down to Fox News and career politicians telling us to not listen to the experts. If we would have listened to the experts, we would have won the coronavirus battle against China. But because we didn't, we lost the COVID battle against China. That China got out of it quickly, that we didn't demand more from the WHO. Trump certainly didn't. He was talking a trade deal with China. Everything that could go wrong would go wrong under Trump. And things will get better, but Kamala uh, refused to prosecute Trump University as a San Francisco Attorney General. Joe Biden will certainly maybe not go after the Trump criminal regime. And this is what we have: greedy, sociopathic ideology. The Libertarian Party is at the core of the problem. A big contradiction indeed. If it makes all this sense, we should have an income tax because you're only entitled to the fruits of your labor. Well, if you're only entitled to the fruits of your labor, why should you be taxed at 0% for money that you didn't work for, that you inherited for? Wow, what a fucking joke libertarianism is. It's all nothing but a cult, an economic cult for the billionaires. These billionaires want to be worshipped as God, even though the very people that build and put their products in production in for sale are the people that drive the front lines of it. And these billionaires need to realize that they are not gods at all, like we want to make them out to be. They don't create everything for America. Everybody does. The people who invest, the people who work for the product, the people who research and develop it, the people who sell it, the people who buy it. I mean, literally, have we lost our sense of community? We're for the free marketplace, and we're for a well-regulated marketplace. There's no such thing as a free market. It's a well-regulated marketplace where we exchange goods. We play under the same rules. There isn't all these exploitation methods that corporations use. These companies out there want to be unregulated, that want their monopolies. The antitrust laws are here to keep them in check. Teddy Roosevelt's a big hero for America. Maybe not so much in terms of imperialism, but that is itself has made some people wealthy in America. That at least we taxed them when we did so. I don't know about the 1800s, but we can go on and on and on. How the ideas of the billionaires lead to the overall prosperity or poverty of a society. And it's these ideas such as not having a wealth tax that is the reason why America can have the Green New Deal to become number one, to bring in all this wealth and investment into the United States of America. What is in more demand nowadays is to renewable resources, so where we won't have concerns of production, that the supply is there, that's going to bring down the price, that if we don't have to worry about supply, then shortages of supply increase the cost of it, and that's what we have to do. Now, if you have a non-renewable resource and we have a shortage of something, there's going to be a high demand for it if there's a shortage of it. Think about the oil crisis in the 1970s and the shortage of it and the long lines outside the oil, the gas stations. The big oil said the world was running out of oil. Bought down Jimmy Carter, ushered in Reagan, the billionaires. I mean, I told you that Bill Clinton is part of this because he modernized financial services. Modernized financial services means that you repeal this Glass-Steagall law, which, insurance and banks and commercial firms can't, partake in all these same industries. It's time to put it in to the billionaire class. This is what we need to do. Precisely what we need to do. And maybe the bread and circuses angle is the next thing that we should lead into. And with all of that stuff, no wonder why libertarianism is a contradiction. It's here to keep you brainwashed, keep you falling into a sucker's ideology, and explain it to you exactly how it goes. Hopefully, you can see the light to the end of the tunnel. That we just got to get money out of the political system. That's not what the Libertarian Party even wants. I mean, it's such a big contradiction. Such a contradiction.